Well, hello, Ollie. Good morning to you. It's good afternoon here for the day before. So, thank you so much for joining us here.
Yeah, no worries. Good morning to you too. Or good
Yeah,
afternoon.
you're outdoors there. Where are you?
I'm just in my backyard. If you can see that.
Oh, yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Dad's
It,
done the hedges well, so
it's what now?
Dad does the hedges well, so it looks very nice.
Oh, okay. So he hasn't put you to work, huh?
Nah, not too much out here.
Yeah, yours bad. I got a 20-year-old who lives with me. Doesn't do shit around here either. So, All right. So, where are you exactly there?
I'm in Newcastle in Australia.
So Newcastle, that's in New South Wales, but is that near Melbourne or Sydney or Canberra? Or what?
It's 2 hours north of Sydney, just on the coast.
Okay, very
Yeah,
good.
it's a nice spot. It's got nice beaches and it's like a little city pretty much.
All right. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but you're near the water though, which must be nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. We live about 15 minutes from the water, but like everything's pretty close by. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's sweet. Well, we're nowhere near the water here in Colorado. We're landlocked and 1,000 miles away from the ocean, but we live for the snow, so that's a whole different
you,
thing.
you do a bit of hiking.
Oh, I do a lot of hiking. I do a lot of mountain running. I'm a trail runner primarily, and do a lot of skiing as well. When we do have snow, we haven't had snow this year though, so it's been just
Yeah,
a weird winter.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, what do you do? Well, what's what do you do for employment, school, whatever you do down there?
I've just qualified my electrical apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Finished that, and I'm doing a few jobs for the next few weeks, but then I've quit because I'm going traveling with my girlfriend. So I'm pretty much unemployed at the moment, which is pretty cool. But,
Well, you're a
yeah,
great employee. You took a job in a few weeks. You're quitting already. Wow, you're a gem.
pretty much. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've just been electrician for the past 4 years or so, 4 or 5 years.
All right.
That's been my main source of income.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
Where are you and your girlfriend off to?
We're going to Sri Lanka first stop,
Oh, okay.
and then going to go through Indonesia.
Nice. All
Yeah.
right. Um, I don't know a lot of people into Sri Lanka, but I always it looks amazing. I just
Yeah.
um, first time there.
Yeah, I haven't been there. I haven't really like heard of many people going there either. We just sort of come across it on the map and looked into it, and it looked really cool. Like,
Yeah.
looks like it's got a bit of everything. So yeah,
Right.
we thought, crack,
Yeah.
why not?
I'm a high school cross country and track coach, and I used to have an athlete whose family was from Sri Lanka, and he would go back there and share some pictures and stories. And yeah, it sounds like they got everything from beaches to jungles there. So it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, a bit of everything. Should be
Yeah.
awesome. Very keen. We're leaving in about 3 weeks, or something like that.
Nice. All right.
That should
Where
be.
in Indonesia are you going to be?
We're gonna go to the top of Sumatra in Medan, and then somehow make our way down to Jakarta. Not
All
sure
right.
yet.
Okay.
Figure it out. I think.
Yeah. Well, 2 years ago, I was in Bali
Oh,
and it was part of, we went to like 7 countries in Asia, just had a great time and spent a couple days in Bali. And I've done some pretty adventurous, unusual travel. Like last year, I was up in the Atacama Desert of Chile, climbing up a mountain up to over 6,000 meters and done
wow.
some pretty crazy stuff. But honestly, renting a scooter in Bali was the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my life. It is nuts over there.
Yeah, the roads are different over there. Hey, but they somehow work pretty well. But yeah, you got to just merge whenever you want.
Yeah, and in some cases I saw people just like, okay, if you can't get around that guy, just go on the sidewalk. And so,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, yeah, between you're on roads with other scooters and cars and bikes, and they're driving on the left side, which is unusual for us. So it just to make it more terrifying. It truly was just absolutely terrifying.
yeah, it's scarier than big mountains.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Well,
cool. Chile, good. Hey, I've heard
What's
lots
that?
about. Chile must have been pretty good.
Bali?
Chile.
Oh, Chile. Oh, Chile was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, if you ever have the chance, it is just starkly beautiful. You know, it's the driest spot on the planet.
yeah.
And when you get up that high, there's nothing that's alive. So
Oh,
we climbed up this mountain and stood on top and, of course, enjoyed the view, which was just incredible. But it was dead silent. I mean, there's no insects, there's no birds, not even planes flying overhead. I don't think I ever experienced anything quite like that. Just absolute dead silence.
yeah. Wow, that's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, it was cool. It was probably, I mean, you know, I've run, you know, a bunch of 100-mile races and things like that, but I would say it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done, say, under 12 hours.
Wow.
You know, getting up to that elevation and just, you know, you take like two or three steps and then you're just leaning on your poles, huffing and puffing for a bit, and then you know, two, three more steps, and you know, it was hard, but it was so worth it to get up there and just absolutely just an incredible feeling.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine the feeling of being up there. Hey, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yep.
Chile's
So
definitely on my list.
yeah, no, definitely at it, man. And yeah, I know it's probably a long flight, but still, it's like, I guess it's still Southern Hemisphere there. So the night sky was absolutely amazing. It was so clear and
Oh,
got to see the Southern Cross, which is something, you know, we don't get to see over here very often. So, you know, all that
yeah,
was very cool.
that's cool. Yeah, we're lucky we see it every night, really.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
there.
we got our own things, but you know, the Southern Cross, that's just, you know, cool thing for us.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So,
keen to see the stars on the other side of the world. It'd be a
oh,
completely night sky.
yeah, isn't that weird? You know, how like you just go to another part of the globe and the sky is different, you know? I mean, you still see the constellations though, like the zodiac, you know, like I mean, you see Orion, but you see, you know, like all the zodiac constellations. So a lot of that's familiar, but then yeah, like say you have certain ones that you're just, wow, that's just different.
Yeah, it's cool. Hey.
Yeah. So, well, cool. You know, kind of looking through a lot of your old Instagram posts and such, you've done quite a bit of traveling and a lot of adventure. It sounds like adventure's kind of in your DNA a little bit there, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Mum and dad met traveling. Like they were big world travelers, so it's definitely in my blood. But yeah, I've always tried to get away and on road trips and traveling a few trips overseas. But yeah, always just trying to do something. It's good
Right.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you consider your primary outdoor activities or sports?
Uh, Around here, definitely surfing is like the main one, just because the beach is right there. It's pretty good waves. But surfing, hiking, and snowboarding, I guess they're probably my three. Like
Right.
snowboarding's a bit harder around here because the snow's about 8 hours from us.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We still drive down every winter, but this winter I couldn't because of my surgery. So I'm keen for next winter.
Y-
Definitely make most of it.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of the same boat with you. I missed all of last ski season here because I had surgery on my foot.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, that's why I've been just itching to get up there right now. And our snow has just been non-existent right now. So, but your ski season is what, like July and August, and that's about it?
Yeah, it's sort of pretty much. It's like it starts the start of June, but the snow is pretty much good or the best for a couple months. Yeah, probably July and August, and then either side of it there is snow, but it's not as good.
Yeah. Well, I got some friends who live in Melbourne who they've ventured up to here to go skiing several times. And yeah, I've met up with
Yeah.
them here. And they'll actually just buy their equipment here because they say it's actually like cheaper to buy equipment here than it is to like
Oh, okay.
transport. You know, I guess skis and everything are really expensive down there. So yeah, so they come up here and it's somehow it's more economical to ski here than down there. I don't get it, but oh well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely went skiing. Sounds so good.
Yeah, no, you should. You know, I moved to Colorado more than 40 years ago, and instantly got hooked on the skiing here. I grew up skiing back in the eastern US, and
Yep.
I can't even believe I thought that was fun because it's like a sheet of ice over there and you freeze your ass off. And here it's just like beautiful and sunshine and powdery snow, and got very spoiled very quickly.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I think my parents have been there, and they've been there a few times because it's so good.
And they never took you, those rotten parents.
Next trip.
All right, sounds good. Oops, sorry, here is Mo the kitten trying to get in here on the podcast here. All right, how you doing? So, you've been, like, say, very active with a lot of different sports and everything. And then I became aware of your story because I was following this one guy named Hamish James on Instagram, and he posted this story about you out there. I've tried to get Hamish on this podcast myself because I know he's got a compelling story about fighting through body image issues, kind of restricting his food intake and everything. I really would like to cover a story about how that affects men, not just women. But he's been a little shy about coming on, even though he's a social media kind of guy, influencer, whatever. But he managed to highlight your story there. And in the midst of all you doing all these different sports and everything, and somehow you ended up having a pretty serious health situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely impacted me a lot.
Yeah, what happened there, man?
Uh, so I had like lots of back and like hip pain for a long time, and I did lots of things to try to resolve it, and then I ended up getting an MRI um, from like a physio, and a big tumor appeared on the image. It was sort of like about my belly button level, and it was wrapping around my spine. So that was a bit of a shock to the system, but also a
Yeah.
good thing. I was like, oh, there's finally like I finally got some sort of an answer to my pain and stuff because I hadn't had anything yet. Um, so yeah, when it went about getting that removed, which was a big process, took about 3 months of lots of appointments and going back and forth with different things, but
Yeah,
finally had
what
the
I mean,
surgery.
yeah, I was gonna say, what were they considering doing to you?
Well, it was sort of just a mission to find out whether it was cancerous or
Right?
cancerous and like how they were going to actually go about getting it out. But the plan was always to get it removed pretty much as soon as they knew it was in there because it was like bad spot and obviously it's not doing any good in there. So
No. Ollie, did they know before they got in there whether it was cancerous or not?
yeah, they did a biopsy, which was
Okay.
pretty much they just stuck a big needle in and took a few. I don't know how many pieces, but they just took a few chunks of it out. Um, and then yeah, they tested that, and then they figured out it wasn't cancerous, which was the best day ever.
Right. Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, yeah, that was a
Yeah,
good
what
need.
was it like waiting for that news?
It was pretty hard. Yeah, my girlfriend was the biggest support for me. She was coming to all the appointments with me, which was very
Right.
helpful. Um, but yeah, the appointments beforehand, when like we weren't sure whether it was cancerous or not, that probably went on for about 2 months or so, and that was pretty hard. Like it was just always a what if sort of scenario. Um, but it also gave me a lot of perspective because I'm like, all right, if this is my path, like if this is cancerous, and um, I got to be grateful for everything, and then like being able to walk, being able to move my legs and stuff. Because I had an appointment. He told me that if it was cancerous, he pretty much would have had to take out some of my spine, and like I wouldn't have been able to walk and stuff. So
Ooh.
good and bad because it gave me a good perspective of a what if. But then it turned out that it wasn't cancerous, and he didn't have to touch anything besides my tumor.
Right.
They got a neurosurgeon in to get it, make sure they didn't cut any nerves, and they pretty much just took the whole thing out in a hole without affecting any of my body, and closed me back up.
Wow. But there was still some question though of how you were going to recover from that, right?
Yeah, definitely. There was still pretty big risks with the surgery, but I pretty much didn't even think about them because I was like, well, I have to get thing out. Like, I can't live with it in me. So I'm just gonna be positive and be like, no, it's all gonna go well. Surgery's gonna go well, and then recovery is gonna go well. Just had no doubt about it all. Um, but yeah, luckily it wasn't like there was nothing in me like that had to bind back together or like, well, I guess the scar definitely had to, but they didn't like don't know how to say it, like they didn't have to put a plate in and let that heal or anything. They just removed something.
Right?
So the recovery went pretty well because all that had to heal up was pretty much my scar and like obviously some swelling in there, but everything else was pretty good.
Yeah. Wow. That is like definitely a best case scenario there. I mean, you think about any surgery near the spine, just, gives me willies anyway. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, uh, where does that positive attitude come from in you there, Ollie, that had you thinking like, hey, this is just all going to work out?
I guess you don't really have a choice at that stage, but I guess it's probably helped. I've practiced yoga and mindfulness for maybe like 4 years now or so.
Okay.
Um, I was right into it for a while, and it definitely shifted my perspective of a lot of things in life and made me be able to open my eyes and see things, sort of choose how to see things. And when it came to my surgery, I was like, this is my chance to show myself that even in a horrible situation, you have the choice to be positive. Like, you don't have to just, like, uh, inside, um, I wanted to cry out and say, poor me, pretty much. Like, it's
Yeah,
hard when things are happening to you, but then it showed me that you always have the choice to be positive. There's always an option to be like, no, this is happening because of this, and I'm lucky that it's happening. And like, it's you can always shift your perspective and find good things to learn from everything. And even if things don't go your way, it's all a choice at the end of the day on how you feel about it all.
totally. Yeah, no, that's an amazing perspective you have there for a young man who, I mean, how old are you, Ollie? You're 20 something years old, right?
Yeah, 22.
22. Okay, that's a really amazing perspective to have already
Thank
gained at that age, even before going through this ordeal.
you. Maybe that's the reason I can see it that way, because there was a plan that I was going to have this big surgery, and I needed to have that perspective, or else things wouldn't have gone so well. Maybe I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah,
No, I think it definitely contributes. I'm a big, big believer in that kind of attitude. And I, uh, I have these be positive bracelets on my wrist all the time here that I hand out to kids at track meets or other places. And it is kind of my general overall theme in life. But good for you getting through something like that. What really changed me years ago was I had a good friend who I used to run with a lot who he got cancer. And I last spoke with him about 3 weeks before he passed. And at that point, he told me that they'd stopped treatment. He was just going to go into hospice and that was going to be it. And yet he had this amazing upbeat attitude. And I'm like, holy crap, dude, how are you so positive right now? And he says, it doesn't help to have a bad attitude, so you might as well have a good one. And
yeah,
that stuck with me for years before I could really figure out what he meant by that. It just was like, holy crap, this guy is. But I realized, like, he knew he had days to live basically, and he just was determined he was going to live his best life he could every one of those remaining days. And it's great metaphor for everything we should be thinking about. I mean, our days may not be in single digits, but we never know. or we may have 4,000 days, but that's still a limited number any way you look at it.
Yeah, it's a good perspective, hey, because nobody knows their end date, but everybody's got one. So yeah, it's you
Yep.
may as well live your life like
Yeah.
however you pretty much.
Right. So yeah, well, good for you. And I want to touch on moving forward in a little bit, but it's really not the first time you've kind of had that, gratefulness attitude and everything. Because I was noticing in your some of your social media, and I you chopped off your dreadlocks at one point, and you were doing it for a charity. But and I have to tell you, I thought the dreads looked great. So I mean, but you cut off your dreads for a good cause. And why don't you tell folks a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, that was pretty lucky that one because I had pretty much grown out of them, like mentally, like I didn't feel comfortable with them anymore, and I told Hamish, the one that posted me, that I was going to chop them off, and then he had just done a charity run for Beyond Blue, and
Right?
then he was like, "Oh, we could make a charity out of this if you want to chop your hair." So he made that happen pretty much. He set it up and um, linked like the charity and made it a little thing. Um, and then I was stoked that something that I was going to do anyway now went to a good cause, and we ended up raising quite a bit of money, which was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Um, Stoked that something good could have come out of that.
Yeah, no, excellent. I didn't realize you guys knew each other that far back, but that's super cool. And tell people more about what Beyond Blue does.
It's more of a question for Hamish, but I think it's a lot of like men's mental health. Just I think it's just supporting all that. Just yeah, mental health issues, which is a very big subject.
Oh, sure. Have you had personal interaction with folks who are dealing with those kind of issues?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, like everybody's got a little bit of stuff going on, and I guess I'm pretty open. So I've had a lot of friends that open up to me about issues, and you do your best to say what you can say and help them out. But at the end of the day, there's only so much you can say. So if there's a little support line that has good tips and good help and a good don't know the right word, like just good advice on how to treat yourself and how to go about things. And yeah, I thought it was a very good thing to raise money for because everybody is living this life for the first time, so they've all got to
Right?
all need help in some way usually.
Yeah. In the US, they used to run a lot of TV commercials. I haven't seen them in the last few months, but it was basically like a number or website you can go to for basically men's counseling because the image has always been, well, we guys, we should be macho, we can rub some dirt on it, suck it up, all those kind of things.
Mm.
And it was yeah, there was like a fictitious psychologist named like Rich Mahogany or something like that. And, you'd always talk about like, about this service that they had. And, I think the American image of Australia is more like Crocodile Dundee. And, you guys are all these, real manly men down there. And, as opposed to our football players are pretty tough. You guys play without helmets and shoulder pads. And, it's like, does men's health have, or seeking counseling and such, does it seem to have maybe a greater stigma down there? Not, I know you don't know what it's like here, but I wonder if there's even a greater stigma down there for men going out and seeking help.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I don't know how it's like over there, but it is quite open here. Like if you were a man getting help, or at least in my group, there's lots of support around you. Like it's not you're not ashamed to do it. But then I guess a lot of men probably do hide it away a bit, maybe.
Right.
Because I guess in my group, nobody would be too shameful to admit it because we're all very open to each other.
Yeah, and that may be more of a generational thing. Um,
Yeah.
I've got a 20-year-old and around here, he's somebody I took in a couple years ago, and we've been talking about how it seems like everybody his age has gone to counseling at some point. It seems to be more of something just, hey, normal part of life kind of thing. And I know my generation and older, that was almost taboo. It's like, that it was a sign of weakness.
Mm. Yeah, I don't. I think it's definitely switched now. Like people are supportive of you. That yeah, I guess there's definitely still people out there that wouldn't be, but yeah, it's definitely a good thing now. Lots of people seek help if they need it, and it's not frowned upon, and it's not shown as weakness around
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
very
no, it's very good. No, it's a positive development, I think. I've got a friend who he's actually said he's turned to Chat GBT as his counselor. He
oh,
will, he said, yeah, he'll talk to it and he'll give him really good answers back. And I haven't looked into that, but whatever works, I guess, right?
yeah. I mean, it has lots of answers, so I'm sure something would be good on there.
Yeah. All right, very cool. Well, you outgrew the dreads, which look good, but you're probably doing okay though, since.
Yeah, yeah, I might get him back. Never
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. You can still grow them. I'd be pretty challenged to do that at this point. So
Yeah,
you had your surgery and everything then, Ollie, and then what was the recovery like? You said it was a lot simpler than it could have been, but you still had kind of a journey to go through to get back, right?
yeah. So the recovery went insanely well, pretty much. I had I think like a week and a half or so in hospital with lots of different drains and all sorts of needles and things in me. So it was like every day I'd get slowly get a few of them out, and they would test it all and make sure I'm all good still. And then when I got out of hospital, I went through about a week of pretty bad pain in my right hip, because it was on my right side of my spine, and I got told my right hip would be affected.
Mm.
So that was pretty painful, maybe a week or two of that. But after that, it was pretty much just like the whole time I could walk around and stuff. I was just getting faster and faster, and it was less painful, and I could move around more and more, and started stretching after a couple, well, maybe after about a month or so, I think. Um, it was good. I took it very easy for the first month or so, but I didn't have to stay in bed. Like I could still just get up, and I would go like for a walk, and I'd go to the beach and walk, and um, yeah, so it was good. It was a very calm time in my life because everybody would go to work, and I would sort of just. It was winter, so I'd light the fire and play guitar and just chill out for the day, pretty much, take it easy.
Well, it
But
sounds like
yeah,
you've gotten retirement already taken out. You already have had your retirement. Now you've got to work the rest of your life.
yeah, yeah. It was very like I took it as a blessing because I had 2 months off work, and my boss was very good. He did like half pay for 2 months.
Oh,
Um,
wow. That is very generous.
yes, I was still getting paid a little bit, and I was just taking it easy. It was like a mini holiday where I just couldn't surf or couldn't like do anything extreme, but I could just relax. And I think I went on a road trip with my girlfriend. I'm not sure where we went. Um, but yeah, we did a road trip for about a week maybe, and just took it easy.
Right. So that surgery was back in, let's see, I'm trying to look at my notes back in,
I think it was
uh, what's that?
in May.
It was in May. Okay. So yeah, about 7 months ago or so, 8 months. Have you noticed any kind of limitations or any kind of things you're still trying to, loosen up, strengthen, what have you?
Um, well, it's a hard one because I found the tumor trying to look into my back pain,
Okay.
and then I got told that the tumor was actually a coincidental find, and it's nothing to do with my pain.
Oh,
And
really?
it's pretty much that's pretty much the case because I'm still working through um I'm still working through some body like pain and stuff, but it's still a hard one whether the tumor affected it or not, because maybe it's allowing me to work through it now that the tumor's not there.
Mm, yeah.
But the actual surgery pain, like I'm still working through strengthening up my core because they went through, even though it was on my spine, they went through the front. They went through like where
Oh,
my hip is,
right.
which is still quite weak. I'm definitely strengthening it, but I still find that sometimes I'll just tweak it. Like I tweaked it about a week ago, throwing a rock across the river. I like threw it,
Right.
and my whole stomach pretty much like uh I don't know what you call it. Not like a tear, but I just felt it.
Kind of seized up
And
on you. Yeah.
yeah, and then like I pretty much just pull the muscle they slice through. I just keep pulling it because it's very tender and weak. Um, but it doesn't affect me too much with daily stuff. I've just got to take it easy um, when I've pulled it, and then just do my best not to put too much pressure on that point. Really.
Yeah. Well, yeah, anytime they go through abdominal muscles, core muscles in the front, it is a long recovery. So, it's
Yeah.
understandable you're going through that. And I'm a big believer in doing core work. So, the more you can do, obviously, is beneficial for everybody, but probably even more so in your situation.
Yeah, I've definitely been trying to strengthen it up because it's like such an important. It's just your whole balance and holds everything in. So
Yeah, I mean, have you been able to get on a surfboard that way?
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think after a few months I could surf, and yeah, now surfing is completely fine.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Doesn't affect me. I remember I tried to surf too early after my surgery,
Of course.
and it was big as well, and I went out and just completely stuffed up my scar. Like it was all. I could feel it just ripping apart, and it was sharp pains, and I was like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah, and then throw some salt water in there. That's even better, right?
Yeah, so
Uh,
that was, and then I had to take it really easy after that.
well, duh, yeah. Yeah, you were
But
22 years old and invincible. I get it.
yeah, that's what I thought. But hiking's really good for me because it's like low impact, and
Right.
because you're just rolling, it's um like I feel really strong afterwards, and yeah, that feels really good for recovery because like where the surgery was a lot of like my hip flexor, so just walking is really good for me.
Yeah. So I would imagine the worst thing you could probably do for it is doing a triathlon. Yeah.
Yeah.
What gave you the idea that this was something you wanted to do?
Well, I sort of I've always wanted to do it because just to push myself and just to do it, looked like a bit of fun. But then I couldn't because of how much pain I was in before the surgery, and like I was like, oh, once I knew I had the tumor, then I was too scared to do it because I didn't know if it was going to badly affect me.
Right.
So I just made made the promise to myself that when I get out, like like I might not be able to walk pretty much. So if I can, then I owe it to myself to push myself and use my body to its potential and really just make the most of being able to walk pretty much. So
Yeah. I mean, with your surgery, though, I mean, even though it was benign, there was a question whether you'd be able to walk again, huh?
yeah, there's definitely yeah. It was. He said there's certain nerves. If you hit this nerve, then my right knee wouldn't work, and then if you hit this one, then my right ankle wouldn't work. Um, and then there was like some blood vessels and stuff. Like there was a bit going on. It was like tucked away in the middle of everything,
Right.
so there was a lot of risk. So I thought if I make it out and I'm able to move my body, I'm gonna make the most of it. So
Yeah.
as soon
I hope you tipped your surgeon then.
Yeah, yeah. I bought him. I was very grateful for him.
I'm sorry, you bought him what?
A bottle of wine and I don't remember what else. But
Uh,
yeah,
the
he's a very
surgery, he probably already bought a yacht and sailed to Tahiti for that, but no, the bottle of wine was nice, but yeah.
good.
All right, well, that's cool. So you said you want to do a triathlon, but did they give you a timetable and said, "Well, Ollie, you should be able to do that in X number of months"?
It was sort of there was like a little time limit on like um you shouldn't do anything for like 2 weeks and then like slowly start moving and within a month you might be able to go for a light jog and stuff. But when I'd meet up with the surgeon, he would sort of just say like the only person that truly knows is you,
Hmm.
and you just judge it on your own body when to start doing things. And if you start doing a little bit of it and it hurts, just don't do it. And just slowly just figure out what you can and can't do and just build your way up. He sort of just left it up to me. There was no restriction on you can't do this until a certain date or whatever. It was sort of just up to me. So
Right.
I just kept mucking around and kept hurting myself pretty much.
With things like that, I always say, you might take two steps forward and one step back, but it's all worth it. So
Yeah,
you just got to know how far you can push it.
pretty much. Yeah, I kept just dabbling in things and then hurting myself and then trying again. And but then I got to the stage where I was like, I'm definitely fit enough to do a triathlon. Um, and then there was one coming up that Hamish and my sister were doing, and then I was like, "Yep, sweet, I'm buying a ticket." And once you bought a ticket, you got no choice, and it just bought, train and get fit, and yeah, it felt good. All the training felt good, and I was just like, I still have to remind myself just to be so grateful to be able to move my body because like there was a chance that I couldn't, so
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
was
this
just
triathlon was just 6 months after your surgery, roughly, wasn't it?
yeah, it must have been something like that. Yeah,
Okay. So, I know what it's like to come back from surgeries. I've had 11 of them actually since 2011. So, I'm, coming back from one right now, and it's a process. And for a while, I was reluctant to sign up for a race. I actually just today signed up for a mountain marathon. I mean, a really hard one, but I'm not. There's no way in hell I could do it right now. I'm going to have to build up to that. Fortunately, I've got about 5 months, um, but even so, at what point did you say, "Okay, Ollie, th this seems doable here," being that you had a pretty short time frame in there to actually build up?
I guess it must have been like a month before the triathlon. I think
Okay,
it was something about then because I was like, right, I'm probably not fit enough yet, but I'm at the stage that I am fit enough to train for this.
right.
And then it was just good timing and it all worked out. Um, yeah, but I don't think I left myself heaps of time to train, which is why the triathlon was still very hard.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
um, but yeah, next time I definitely just train even harder. I guess even like just leave myself more time so you
Yeah,
can.
well, I mean, it always makes sense. You just didn't have a choice in this case.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, so this triathlon was back in November 9th, so just a couple months ago. And it was in Newcastle, right there.
Yeah, it was just at my hometown, so
Oh,
it was
that
perfect.
works out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was hardest for you to train for between the three disciplines?
Um, Probably swimming, not because of my surgery, just because it was hard. Like I've never really, uh, you underestimate how hard it is. Because I'm a surfer as well. Like you think paddling is the same, but it's completely different. And like that was pretty hard to sort of get the technique and wrap my head around how to actually do it for a long distance.
Plus jumping
And
in the water with a whole bunch of other people, right?
yeah, exactly. I was scared of that, like because I only trained in a pool as well, which was
Yeah.
very
Well,
swimming with
it's
a
a pretty hard thing to simulate on your own, you know?
yeah. So that was probably the hardest, especially because like I've always ridden a bike, like I'm pretty confident on a bike, and then running I've done a fair bit of in the past, but I've never swam. So
Right.
that was probably, yeah,
Yeah.
biggest
Yeah. Much less in the ocean. So, yeah, big difference.
yeah, very big difference. But actually, I surprised myself. I was swimming and I was overtaking people, and I was like, oh, I must be going right at this. So I was stoked at how I went.
Yeah. No, I'd just be happy not to drown. So, no, I'm only kidding. I don't want to sound like one of those people, but yeah, so it was a sprint triathlon, right? So it was 0.1K. I guess that's what, 600. I'm just translating that for English measurements there. So that would be, well, point 0.6. I forget it. I've screwed it up anyway. 0.1 kilometers. Then you had a bike ride of what, like 18K, I think, and then a 5K run.
Pretty much, yeah. I think it was 20k, 20k ride, but the ride was a bit messed up because, as you would have seen, I like swapped with Hamish halfway, or not halfway, but like a couple laps into it. So it was a bit. It wasn't like a proper triathlon, like how you do a proper triathlon, but it was still
Yeah,
good.
but no, but you did the work though. So explain to people what happened to you there. It wasn't just that guys exchanged bikes.
Yeah, it was. I'd smashed the I'd smashed the swim, and then I grabbed my bike. I was feeling good, and then as I went across the start line for the bike, I hopped on, and my girlfriend was sitting right there, and I said, "I love you." And then as soon as I said, "I love you," my tire popped.
Great.
Oh no! And I tried to ignore it. I was like acting like it didn't happen. I kept riding for a couple hundred meters, and then realized it wasn't doable. I'm not going to be able to do the whole race. So I sat it out, and then um, when I was sitting on the sideline, Hamish rode past and he saw me, and then he did another lap around, and then when he came back, he just got straight off, and he was like, get on," and I was like, "No, nah, no, nah, it's your race," and he was like, "No, nah, you're riding," and then he forced me onto the bike pretty much, uh, and then I got to ride his. He's got a very nice bike, so I got to ride his bike, which was pretty sick.
Right.
Um,
And was it even the right size for you?
uh, yeah, I guess so. It was. He's probably got it dialed to his like specs, but it was
Yeah.
still completely fine for me. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
that was
Well, yeah, that's
pretty.
lucky. I mean, yeah, it's a good thing he wasn't like, again, I'm trying to think, 6'6", which, whatever that is in centimeters, but, yeah, good thing he wasn't like way taller than you.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, completely wrong size bike,
Yeah.
but no, it
So,
was.
so you're able to cruise through the bike part, okay, then I guess, and then had to hop off and start running at that point.
Yeah, and then he ran with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he ran the last bit with me, which was awesome. He met me at the end of the bike and got his shoes on and ran with me.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a good day. It felt good, and the run was harder than I thought too.
Yeah.
Um, I struggled with that, but he was there telling me what my pace was, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and you ran a 25 minute some seconds 5K there, which for coming back from where you were is pretty darn respectable.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was stoked at how it went. It all went pretty well. Felt pretty good with. I don't know. I don't really know like too much about the time and all that, but I got told it was good, so
Yeah.
I'll go.
Well, from what I saw, hold on, I got to get my specs here. You finished overall in 1 hour 27 and finished 114th out of 304 finishers and 11th out of 27 in the 20 to 24 age group. So that's all really solid stuff.
I didn't even know any of that.
Yeah, well, that's the journalist in me. I did a deep dive on you as much as I could.
That's Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, I mean, to finish in the top half in your age group there, I mean, that's like I say, very impressive. So well done, young man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. What'd you have to say to Hamish after all that?
Oh, I was stoked. I was gave him a big hug, and he was just he's a very just very good person. It's
Right.
just very grateful for him because even though he was racing, he was like he knew it meant more to me because he's done like a lot of races and um a lot bigger races as well. So yeah, he's a pretty good person for just giving me the bike pretty much. I was stoked.
Yeah, no, he's way nicer than I would have been because what my reaction would have been, I'm going to go beat somebody else up for their bike and take it from them. Yeah, that's the New Yorker in me. You know, we'd rob somebody else's bike. So, well, good for him. No, that's impressive. You know, he seems like a nice guy. I've conversed with him or, messaged with him and like I say, tried to get him on this podcast. So if he ever gets over that shyness, love to chat with him too. But again, he sounds like he's a good person and was looking after you, which is pretty awesome out there.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely after people.
Yeah. So, what's going to be coming up next for you in terms of racing? You have anything else in your sights?
Well, there was a triathlon um, twice the length of it, twice the length of the one I did, which was
Right.
coming up about a month just before we take off overseas. And I was about to do it, but then they are quite expensive for some reason.
Hmm.
So I thought I might just save my money just because I'm saving to travel.
Right.
I was sort of like, do I spend the money or do I not? So it's still on the cards. I might do that just so I can be fit before traveling. But other than that, there's not too many there's not too many races or anything on the cards because the next like half a year is hopefully just going to be surfing. Every,
Right.
so I guess that's on the cards. That's the next thing. Just get as many waves as I can overseas.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Do you ever envision yourself competing on the surf circuit or anything like that?
I wish I could say I was good enough, but I don't think
No.
so.
All
Nah,
right.
for a bit of fun.
Yeah. Well, are you, when you say you want to surf all over, are you in search of bigger waves than what you can get there in Australia?
Yeah, definitely. The waves do get big here, like bigger than I can surf probably, but they're never very good. If it's that big, it's not a very good wave.
Yeah.
Uh, so I
Yeah,
think in
how big are the waves over there typically?
the biggest it gets for like when it's good is about 8 foot,
Okay.
and then it does get good a lot bigger than that, but you have to know where to go and you have to have some balls pretty much.
Right.
This there would be certain spots that handle it, but yeah, most of the time I haven't surfed over 8 foot around here because it's usually just pushing my limits of like the wave and
Right.
everything. I think in Sri Lanka it won't be too big. It's just a couple little fun waves. But then hopefully when we're going through Indonesia, find a couple pretty good waves, a bit bigger. And I mean, when it's big over there, it's depending on where you go, but it's a lot easier to surf the size because it's such a perfect setup.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like I surfed like 7 foot or so when I went to Indonesia last time, and it was like there was no fear because the wave was so perfect that you knew exactly what it was doing, and yeah, it's a completely different uh, style of surfing, I guess, like completely different surfing big waves when it's
Hmm.
perfect.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware so much of that. I mean, I learned how to surf back east, eastern United States, and yeah, I think when the hurricanes would go by offshore in the fall, the waves would get up to like 6 feet.
Yep.
Most of the time we had smaller waves than that. But then I went to Hawaii, to the island of Kauai, which is one the furthest west, I think, of the islands there, and absolutely got my ass kicked trying to surf there. And I don't know if it's because they were so big or their shape or whatever. I'm not too familiar with all that, but those things destroyed me. I mean, it was bad. That's all I can say. And you get in the whole washing machine there, and you're just hoping to bob up to the surface. I'm holding my breath, holding my breath. It's like, man, I'm never coming up. I mean, it's like, what the hell? This thing is just. And then you look up, and it's like you've already been pushed like a quarter of a mile down the shore. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
So that's the big leagues there.
Whole different like world, eh? Like the power of the waves are completely different everywhere you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is why I guess people travel because they know where the good waves and the powerful waves are. So
right.
travel over and get them, even
Yeah,
if it looks the same on like a video or something. Like you, when you're surfing it, it feels completely different when there's lots of power and energy behind the wave.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, you're gonna have some fun there. And yeah, I get when you're 22 years old, you have to make some decisions between whether you want to travel or enter races and such. I mean, yeah, races are getting kind of crazy. I'm not as familiar with entry fees and triathlons, but I mean, like ultra marathons are becoming so expensive these days. I mean, the big thing now is like these 200-mile races, and I understand it costs like
Wow,
2,000 US dollars to get into some of these. It's just
wow.
it's really nuts. So yeah, kind of kind of closing a lot of people out of there. But um, yeah, I know a lot of people your age who do like volunteering at races just so they can get credits to do races. So yeah, it's
Oh,
kind of tough. Yeah.
that is cool. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, a lot of these racing companies will give you credits for how many hours you work as a volunteer, and then you can apply that to the race entry fees.
Oh, okay. I might look into it. That could be
Yeah,
good.
yeah, could be one way to go. Hopefully they do that down there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Well,
fun race.
one of the things that most people who survive cancer, they talk about how develop a different attitude towards life. They develop maybe some more tenacity that helps them out in competing and such. I know yours wasn't cancer, but you certainly had that scare that, it might have been. So after everything you've been through, Ollie, with this tumor, what has it done to shape your perspective on life?
I've been asked this a few times, and it's hard because it's shaped a lot of things. I'm glad I had a good perspective about it already.
Right?
So it's not like I went from being depressed to like I had a great insight because a lot of the things it was just a reminder that of things I already touched on before. But it pretty much just showed me that like it showed me how short your life can be and how life is always going to be so unexpected. Like there's no way you can predict like anything of how your life is going to travel because you can make plans and have certain ways you want your life to go in like you want to get this and you want to do that, but at the end of the day you have no say of how your life is actually going to go. Like I had no say of that, like the tumor and everything, and it just showed me that yeah, you truly just have no idea of where it's going to go and how short your life is going to be, and just to make the most of every moment. And if you want to do something, just do it and don't get closed off in your little bubble. Like open your world up to as much as you can and experience being a human pretty much. And just remind yourself that life's, I don't know, life's pretty cool. Like life's
Yeah, yeah.
be here and just made me grateful for my body and being able to move and um yeah, it taught me so much. I could go on and on. Like it taught me to fuel my body well as well, like eat well because I was researching a lot like before I knew if I had cancer, like what to eat.
All right, sorry about that short interruption there. Go ahead there, Ollie.
Yeah, so it just reminded me of how short life can be, and that there's no way of knowing if you're gonna die today or tomorrow, or and it's not only me, like the loved ones around you and the people around you, like you don't know when they're gonna pass, and to cherish every moment with them, and just make the most of being here and alive, and because life's pretty good, and there's so many things you can do with your life, and if you feel a desire to do something, you should just go and chase it and do it because it's your calling, and it's if it feels right to you, then you should definitely go chase it.
Yeah, well, with
And
your adventurous heart, it sounds like you're going to be getting after a lot of those things.
yeah, exactly. Like that's what it did as well. I was like 100% as soon as I can, I'm going traveling because it's always been my sort of just what I know I need to do. Um, so it's good we've just made it happen pretty much as soon as we could have. Um, which yeah, I'm stoked about that. But yeah, it also showed me that there's no way. It's very cliche. Everybody has heard this before, but there's no way of ever knowing what somebody else is going through, and you should never assume or judge that you know what somebody's going through, even if they're close to you. Like because somebody on the street, I I look completely healthy, like I look completely fine. They wouldn't have any idea that I might have like a cancerous tumor in my spine, you know?
Oh yeah.
So like when you see people around and everything, you just gotta just be kind to everybody and um yeah, just be a nice person and be there for everybody and help people because everybody like, you just don't know what people are going through.
Yeah, that's great perspective for a 22-year-old there. David Clark, who started this podcast, used to say, you see somebody who, lashes out, cuts you off in traffic or whatever, you don't know what kind of day they're having, and he said, bottom line is you should treat everybody like it's maybe their last day on earth. If you knew somebody was going to be gone tomorrow, how would you treat that person? And obviously, if they knew that they may not be having the best day, but you would probably treat them with a whole lot more kindness if you just maybe, you know, try not so much put yourself in their shoes because you don't know, but just treat them like maybe they are going through something tough right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because you just truly never know, hey. And especially if they are lashing out, if they're being aggressive and cutting you off in traffic and stuff, they're probably doing that for a reason. Like they've probably got an incentive behind it. They're not just a nice person being a dickhead that day. Like they might be
Or they,
going,
they could be a New Yorker like me who just naturally cuts people off in traffic. I just no, but I get your point totally there, Ollie.
yeah, yeah. But it's just showed me a lot of things. It's a hard one to answer because there's a lot of in my head, a lot of different things that I learned, and I have no way of expressing it and saying it out loud in one sort of thing.
No,
But
and
yeah, it's
very similar to the story I told you earlier about my friend who was terminal cancer. It took me some years to really fully grasp what he was getting at there. And I'm sure you're going to go through a process too. I mean, you're young. Most people are going through pretty drastic changes at your age anyway, much less the situation you've had. So, I think it's probably going to take you a few years to be able to fully grasp everything that you've gone through and how it affects your place on this planet.
definitely, hey, yeah, because when it all happens, you're all amongst it and you're like, you know it's happening, but it's hard to actually know it's happening, sort of thing. And then I've talked about it with a couple mates like this week, and like you sort of have to remind yourself, like, wow, that happened to me. I don't know. It's a weird, it's a weird thing because you sort of you just happens and you move on, but then you like have to look back and be like, wow, that's taught me so much, and remind yourself of all of it. And yeah, there's a lot to learn from hard situations for sure. the biggest learning curve ever.
Yeah. No, and I'm sure you get those not so subtle reminders every now and then, whether it's seeing the scar or maybe you cough or sneeze and you can feel that, or just something stupid like that. How do you think it has changed your relationships with people, whether your parents, your girlfriend, or your other mates there?
I definitely brought my girlfriend and I closer because we had only been dating. It would have been 4 or 5 months. Oh, that was actually when the surgery happened. So when I first found out, we'd only been dating maybe 3 months or so. Um, so it was definitely a big time for us. Like I felt really guilty for being with her, sort of thing, because she didn't deserve to like meet me and then have to go through a cancer scare straight away, pretty much. So it was a hard time, but it just brought us so much closer because
Hmm.
she was so there for me and she was just my biggest support pretty much. But then also all my relationships, like with my parents and my sister and my mates, like it sort of opened us all up because it opened a conversation about health and um, never knowing what is going to happen in your life and making the most of every moment and just made me cherish all my relationships pretty much and make the most of every time you see people. And yeah, I feel like in general just makes every relationship stronger.
Yeah. Well, that's cool that you've had friends there, your peer group who you can talk to about that because, as you know, a lot of guys your age are that's definitely not something first in their mind. I mean, they're more into whatever dumb things 22-year-olds do, right? So,
Yeah.
that's cool you're able to talk to folks like that. And boy, what a treat you were for your girlfriend. It's like, hey, we've gone out for a few months and now I'm going to hit you with this.
Yeah, it was a hard conversation, like saying like the first time, like, oh, I've just got told this is hard because yeah, you just feel guilty for dragging them into it, but it's not my fault. But yeah, it was a hard time. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, she
well,
was
she's pretty
big.
special then to put up with you.
Yeah,
Swinging back to what you're saying about health and everything, you mentioned before that food was a big issue, a big thing that you kind of reformed, if you would. I mean, I wouldn't say a food zealot, but I definitely try to eat very healthy. I'm pretty close to vegan. You know, I say I'm a vegetarian with a couple of exceptions, but what did you discover in terms of your own food intake and nutrition that makes a difference for you?
I just discovered that like it really does matter what you put in your body because I was researching like what foods cause cancer and um like and there was lots of foods that everybody eats on the day to day, and I am guilty. Like I'm still eating foods that I know I shouldn't, like since the surgery, but it's definitely just gave me the reminder that like you have to be very intentional with what you put in your body because it's not just what you eat, and it's like it causes health problems and it causes cancer, and it's a very big part of if you're going to be healthy or not of what you put in your body. Um,
Totally.
yeah, so just been trying to be healthy and eat lots of good food, pretty much,
Right.
which is very hard to do. It's just a choice at the end of the day. Once again,
As you say, you do have to be intentional about it because, I'm not sure what it's like in Australia, but in this country, the food industry is so geared towards feeding junk to people because it gives them that short-term feeling of feeling good and then the sugar and the salt becomes addicting, so they want to eat more of it. And it's uh, even though the healthy choices are there, it's not always easy to make the right decisions based on just kind of the pressuring you get from advertising and marketing. So, hopefully in Australia, maybe it's not quite as bad, but I have a feeling it's probably just as bad as here.
yeah, it is just as bad. Like you go into Woolworths, which is like our main shopping like grocery store,
Right.
And if you read the ingredients on most things, like it's just full of shit that doesn't need to be in there. And like it's just a very weird industry because you're right, like it's just programmed to feed us junk food pretty much that's not even food. Um, so yeah, just eating well, like you're in the top 1% if you can eat well pretty much. Because
Right.
yeah, if you look at everybody's trolleys when you go to the shops, it wigs me out. I'm like, everybody's just buying and eating food that's not food.
Oh yeah, and they push you to make impulse buys. You go to those end caps and they've got all the chips and the candy and other crap over there. And yeah, by the time they get to the checkout, their cart, or you call it a buggy there, I guess, is just full of crap.
Yeah, and it's you gotta like I'm glad I'm even talking to you about it because you gotta remind yourself to eat well because it is so tempting when everybody around you is eating bad and you go to the shops and everything's bad. It's so tempting just to have a slack, just yeah, no, I'll just eat this, who cares? But you got to keep reminding yourself to eat well because it's one of the most important things you can do really for your health, and health is health is so important. So
As you have learned very firsthand.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, hey, Ollie, you have an amazingly mature perspective for a 22-year-old, and obviously some of it was because of lived experience, but a lot of it's just some of your makeup, which I'm impressed as heck by you. I hope you get that opportunity to be able to do more competing and really explore life because you got it together there, young man. I'm like I say, very impressed by you.
Thank you. That means a lot to
Yeah,
me,
you
bro.
bet. I am going to throw you one softball question. I normally don't throw a lot of these things out, but my friends in Melbourne years ago taught me the rules about Australian rules football, your AFL or whatever you call it there.
Yeah.
It used to be on TV here in the summertime before TV channels are just filled with everything else in the world. But I used to get to watch the AFL, and they actually got me like, so I understood that like when that little guy in the trench coat does that with one hand, it's not as good as when he does it with two and um, when he's signaling the goal. But I actually have my own favorite team down there. I was just wondering, who's your favorite AFL team? Do you have one?
Uh, I would love to give you an answer, but I don't really follow too much sport.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I wouldn't even be able to name three teams, I don't think, in AFL. It's pretty
Okay.
hard, but yeah, I'm not a very big like I like playing sport, but not following it, I guess.
Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, wrong guy to ask then, but yeah, I thought the AFL was like a national religion down there or something, but like American football is almost like a religion over here.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like it's got a very big support. I've watched a couple games of like Sydney Swans and somebody else. I don't even know.
All right. Well, the team I got to root for was the Hawthorne Hawks. It's not easy to say.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. They used to wear these ridiculous jumpers, as you call them, with it looked like bumblebees or something, these crazy horizontal stripes on them. All right. Well, cool. Well, hey, I appreciate your time so much, and it took a while for us to be able to pull this off, but I'm so appreciative of your time. I'm so happy that you're doing healthy now, and um, just best wishes for your trip upcoming and all the other things you got planned in your life.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I could say the same to you. Um,
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And tell that guy Hamish to quit being so shy, and love to hear about his story too.
yeah, I'll let him know. Yeah,
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, brother.
no worries. See you later.